you only had 90 days to achieve a physique like Toji, Baki, or Sung Jin Woo, what would you do? Now, it may seem impossible to get in the best shape of your life in just 90 days, but using my 7 years of calisthenics bodybuilding experience, I discovered a system that allows you to achieve a strong aesthetic anime physique from the comfort of your own home with zero weights. And by the way, this system has already helped so many others achieve their anime physique, but more on this later. In days 1 to 30, you're in the awakening arc, and it's the most crucial arc for success. But before we touch any exercise or workout, there's one thing that you need to do first. Every powerful protagonist in any shonen anime demonstrates their enormous amount of power. We see them destroying bad guys and unleashing their full strength on those who dare to get in their way. It's very impressive. It's very nice. But it would mean nothing if we never saw them in their episode 1. The weak, timid normies who don't even know how to do a Kamehameha through their hands or use cursed energy with a dip of a finger. So just like those guys, you need to log your episode 1 by taking a before picture. That way, when you think you're not growing or you're staying the same weight, you can just look back at that photo and realize how far you've actually come. But it's not just the before photo that you should log. You'll also want to record your personal stats and your power levels. How many push-ups can you do? How many pull-ups can you do? How many squats? How long can you hold a hanging L-sit? Can you do a wall handstand for 15 seconds? Can you do a backflip? If so, teach me. This is going to give you clean, quantifiable metrics to also see how far you've come since episode 1. But after you establish where you are currently, you're going to want to start a plan of action to level up where you want to go in episode 503. Do animes run that long anymore? 503 episodes? And just like how the students in My Hero have unique training according to their goals, we need to have a plan ourselves that attribute to our main goal, the anime physique. To start, you need to know exactly what your training arc is going to look like. And that all begins with a proper training split. Now, if we're looking to get an anime physique in just 90 days, we need to optimize for one thing, and that's volume. And the best split to achieve that is the 5-day push-pull leg split. This is the most effective yet beginner-friendly split that anybody can do. You sufficiently work each muscle group every single day, twice a week, and you even get 2 full days of rest. You can spend that time chilling and watching the new Chainsaw Man movie. And I did, it's quite good. Besides knowing when to train, you also need to know what to train with. What tools should you have in your arsenal and use to build up your strength? And what tools should not be in your arsenal because they're a waste of money and time. First thing you absolutely need is a pull-up bar. Going for a door frame pull-up bar is very nice and convenient, and it's probably the most affordable option. But if you don't have a good door frame to assemble a pull-up bar, or you just have some weak house, either get a better house or go for a dip station, which is a little bit pricier, but you don't have to install it on anything. And honestly, this is the bare minimum. This is all you might need to get an anime physique in 90 days. But if you're looking to get more out of these 3 months, then here are my other recommendations for equipment. The next thing I would acquire is gymnastics rings. These unlock a whole new avenue of calisthenics training. Think dips, rows, bicep curls, and even push-ups. If nothing else, you need to get some rings. Next, it's not 100% necessary, but it is quite nice to have, and that's parallettes. These are going to help unlock more exercises and help you dive into more variations. Make some exercises easier, make them harder, very nice tool. But having the right equipment means nothing if you don't build the right foundations, which is why we need to figure out what exercises we need to do. Think of any main character story arc. Once the character's power is awakened, they get tested by some strong enemy. Think when Itadori fought off that first cursed spirit, or when Sung Jin Woo fought those high-level dogs. It's something that challenges them, but it's not going to overwhelm them. And that's the key thing here. Because imagine if Itadori had to fight Mahito the day he ate Sukuna's finger. Honestly, he'd probably die. He wouldn't know what to do. But on the opposite end, what if episode 1, Itadori got his powers, and then his first task was to kill one of those tiny little ugly cursed spirits? We would probably die of boredom. So for us to succeed in the first 30 days, we need exercises that both challenge us so that we can grow, but also not too hard that we give up in the first 30 days. But while there are countless exercises to choose from and everybody starts at different levels, there are a select few exercises that I think anybody can start with. First, we got pull-up negatives. You don't need to be able to do a pull-up in order to do these, but they're going to develop a nice back for you. Next, dead hangs. Whether you can do these for 10 seconds or a minute, there's nothing wrong with more grip strength. Push-ups, another great example. Most people can do these, whether that's 5 reps, 10 reps, or 20 reps. Pike push-ups are another great thing to start with to develop that shoulder strength and shoulder size. Next up, lunges. It's a great way to build the legs, along with regular bodyweight squats. The truth is, it doesn't really matter if you're too strong or not strong enough for these exercises. As long as your reps are within 6 to 12 and you're training to failure each time, then you're Gucci. But even if your reps are in the perfect range and you're training to failure, it's not gonna matter if you eat like trash. Now, it's individual for everybody, but according to the data that I've collected so far, most of you guys are skinny fat. And according to my calculations, you guys have too much fat and not enough muscle. Therefore, in this system, we need to start with a good bulk. For this to work, we need to make sure we nail our protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight, and trying to go in a 200 to 300 calorie surplus. Any more than that and you're gaining unnecessary fat. But there is a huge mistake that most beginners fall into when they start a 90-day transformation. And it has nothing to do with diet or working out. See, there are 2 main camps that most beginners are going to fall into. The first are the complainers. These guys are my least favorite. They're basically NPCs. They start something that they know is going to be hard, and then later they complain that it's hard. Oh, I want to get in shape, but I don't like effort. Then they start coming up with excuses like, oh, I don't have time. I'm going to skip my workout. My wrist kind of hurts. I'm going to skip my workout. My penis is broken. Therefore, I skip my workout. Now, no offense to any of you who are like this. Maybe a little bit of offense. Seriously, I do get where you guys are coming from, but you guys need to start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. The pain, the effort, the struggle, the stuff that we're trying to avoid, it needs to be normalized on this path. Now, the second camp you can fall into is the excitables. These guys are so motivated to get in shape. They go hard, working out every day, posting on social media, only for that fire to die in the second month. And now they don't want to work out or stick to their diet because they lost motivation. Now, I have one thing to say to that. Screw your motivation. Motivation is a very nice launch pad to get started, but don't use it as the fuel to keep going. You need to realize that motivation is as fleeting as Yamcha's life, and it's not going to last forever. The best thing you can do at the start of the 90-day journey, whether you're a complainer or an excitable, is just to show up every day. If you can do that, you can make it past the first month and keep going into the second month. Now, if you're looking for ways to keep yourself disciplined, find ways to improve your diet, and you want that full 90-day roadmap to an anime physique, you can find all of that in my Shonen Strength community. There, I've helped over 1,000 people to unlock their anime physique with my 90-day Protagonist Method program. It uses the exact same system that I am giving to you in this video, and the program even has a self-improvement glow-up protocol. So not only are you going to level up your physique, but you're also unlocking your protagonist glow-up and main character mindset. So if you want to level up in 90 days, click the link in the description. Stepping into days 31 to 60, we have the power-up arc. This is the time when most of you guys are going to give up. And if I was a betting man, I would say that 90% of you guys are going to stop here. As for the rest of you, congrats on making it this far. This is the arc where things start to get more serious, and it's a critical point for all protagonists. In any midway arc, the main character is fighting enemies without much struggle. Stakes are still high, the fights are entertaining, but we don't see any big push. Only until the big bad reveals himself for the first time, or one of his many powerful goons shows up, does the character get close to death and barely survive, pushing themselves to the limit. And even though they suffer greatly, the growth and power they achieved in the process outweighs that suffering. In our midway arc, our goal is to now ramp up the difficulty and push ourselves close to the limit. That way we can experience true growth and bring out our true potential. The first way we do that is by changing arguably the hardest part of the journey, which is the diet. In the first 30 days, we've put on a decent amount of muscle via our bulk, but now we need to start cutting down. And personally, I find cutting to be far more difficult than bulking because I am a sinful glutton. But there are ways to make it easier. Firstly, sticking to whole foods. A lot of the times, processed foods and foods that are not nutritionally dense but higher in calories will cause us to become hungrier and fatter. Maybe once in a while have some junk food if you need it to keep you sane, but keeping it 80% whole foods, 20% anything else is a good go-to. Second, up the protein lower the carbs. I find that when protein is higher and carbs are lower, I tend to eat less. And this is because protein is far more satiating and carbs will tend to raise your appetite. And of course, getting that 10K steps a day is crucial to stabilize that calorie burn. And I suggest using this to go into a 500 to 700 calorie deficit for this month. But now that you're losing weight, we need to make sure that we're not losing any muscle. In fact, we want to accelerate our muscle building process by making our workouts harder than last time. And one of the easiest ways to do that is just by increasing the reps. This just makes it very simple. You pretty much keep your entire workout the same with not much to change, but you're automatically putting in more work and tension on the muscles by simply moving just a little more and keeping at the exercise a little longer. I recommend increasing reps every couple of weeks or so, just to remain challenged and speed up the growth. But there is a more effective way to progressively overload, and I use this method throughout my entire Protagonist Method program. And you are keeping the exercises more or less the same, but we're going beyond plus ultra. Two main ways I do this. First is the rep promise. Take your perceived max reps for an exercise, then add 2 to 5 reps on top of that max. And once you have that number, you need to promise yourself that for every set, you are going to hit that number, whether you need to take a break at the end of your max or take multiple breaks in between. You're going to be either training to failure and just a little bit more, or you'll quickly realize that you've been holding yourself back the entire time. The second Beyond Plus Ultra method I like to use is the bodyweight drop set. Take any exercise in the world and finish a set. Now go immediately into an easier variation of that exercise. For example, after finishing some pull-ups, I'm going to go right into pull-up negatives. Now you are exhausting every working muscle fiber that you otherwise would have missed had you not done the easier variation. But while training to failure and beyond is an overpowered way to level up, it's not the only way. In fact, one of the most well-known ways of progressively overloading in calisthenics is using a harder progression. But a lot of people do this very incorrectly, especially in the beginning. Could you imagine if Midoriya, after using one for all, and he breaks his entire arm, and then on day 2, he decides to use advanced techniques right away? Bro hasn't even mastered using it in his arm, and he's gonna try to use it in his legs, in his body, in his head, in his everything. He's gonna die. He's cooked. He'll explode. So if you are going to use a harder progression, you need to keep it within the realm of the basics. Because if we skip the basics and just go right into the fancy stuff, we're gonna crash. I've seen it so many times. Some excitable newbie jumps right into muscle ups after he did 5 pull-ups, and oops a daisy, he chicken winged it and he hurt his shoulder. If you're gonna be getting an anime physique and you wanna do it in as little time as possible, sticking to the basics is gonna be a huge asset. Are you progressing from jackknife pull-ups? Just go into pull-up negatives. Are you done with push-ups? Do decline push-ups. I guarantee that getting the basics down first is going to be the best way to unlock an anime physique. Because once you do, you're gonna be fully ready for days 61 to 90, the final form arc. At this point, you're going to be pushing yourself beyond your own limits and finally realize what's possible. When it comes to diet, you need to get even more strict. By the 3rd month, I'm going to be cutting out all processed foods from my diet and focus on that single ingredient goodness. But to match the intensity of the diet, we need to match the intensity of the workout. And this is now the point that you can use these fancier variations. Things like front lever raises, supinated inverted rows, explosive push-ups, wall walks, and even Bulgarian split squats, if you find them fancy. But some of my favorite variations that I would include at this stage of the system fall into one category: unilateral movements. These will not only help you grow stronger, but also helps you to manage physical imbalances. Exercises like archer push-ups, one-arm rows, archer pull-ups, pistol squats, just to name a few. And go hard on these variations. Start getting into the 6, the 5, even the 3 rep range if you want to. But keep in mind, you don't just need to do different variations all the time. You can just modify existing exercises to make them harder. My favorite way to do that is with holds. Holding a movement is automatically going to put your muscle through more time under tension, and I believe it's best used on the last rep of your set. But one thing you can do to take it even further on this final stage is just combining the techniques together. Maybe at the end of a rep promise, you hold that last rep. Maybe you jump into a drop set and rep promise that as well. Or maybe you're doing more advanced variations with a rep promise into a bodyweight drop set while holding your last set, while eating your protein meal, while screaming affirmations in the mirror, while kissing the sky, and while... But all of that is just theory. So to summarize everything, here is the exact practical system that you should do. First month, go into a bulk and follow that 5-day push-pull leg split. Do exercises that build that solid foundation in the basics, and they challenge you without burning you out. Pull-up negatives, regular push-ups, bench dips, etc. Remember, always start the workout with your harder exercises, then progress to the easier ones. And make sure that you're in the right headspace. Get comfortable with pain, and don't rely on motivation. Second month, go into a cut and keep the actual workout more or less the same, but just make the exercises themselves harder. Add more reps to your existing workout, train beyond failure with rep promises and bodyweight drop sets for at least one time in each workout. And do harder variations, but keep it within the basics. In this case, going up 2 progressions this month would be a good goal to have. For example, if you're starting from inverted rows, then you would want to go to jackknife pull-ups and then pull-up negatives. And in the final month, lock in and only eat your whole foods. Try a couple advanced variations at the start of your workout, then follow it up with your basics training again, but now with your combined advanced techniques. Rep promise, drop sets, etc. Then at the end, finish it with some high rep work to really pump up your muscles. And again, this is the exact same system that I use to help design the protagonist method in my Shonen Strength community. So if you're struggling to get that anime physique and you want to unlock it in 90 days, you can check it out. But if you're just starting from zero and you're trying to get into calisthenics, then you should check out this video right here where I show you every calisthenics progression you need to build an anime physique from beginner to pro.